Sergeant Callum Reeve woke up to pain. His body was bruised, his head spinning. Smoke filled the air. All around him was broken metal and fire. His dropship had crashed. The mission had gone wrong, very wrong. Just hours ago, he and his squad of Earth soldiers were flying above an alien planet called Garnak 6, following a strange distress signal. The signal wasn't from humans. It was from an unknown alien species asking for help. Earth Command had sent Reeves' team to investigate. But the second they entered the planet's sky, something hit them. The ship was torn apart, and now he was the only one left alive. Garnak 6 was not a normal planet. It was called a Deathworld, a place where the air, land, and every living thing tried to kill you. The sky was a burning red, full of ash clouds and endless lightning. The wind felt like it could peel your skin off. Even the plants looked deadly, sharp, twisted, and alive in strange ways. Reeves struggled to stand, his legs aching. His suit was damaged, his radio silent. No voices, no rescue. His squad was gone. He was completely alone, but he was trained for this. Earth soldiers weren't weak, especially not the ones sent to planets like this. He checked his gear. 1 plasma rifle, almost full charge. 2 grenades. A broken scanner. Not much, but it would have to do. He knew he couldn't stay near the crash. It was too open. If anything out there had seen the ship fall, it would come looking for food. And Reeve wasn't planning to be dinner. He moved slowly into the forest, but this was no normal forest. The trees looked like claws reaching toward the sky. Their trunks were black, bark cracked like bone. The leaves shimmered like insect wings. The ground squished beneath his boots, almost like he was walking on old flesh. Every few feet, he saw signs of death. Bones, husks, strange nests made of web and teeth. It wasn't clear what had died, or what had killed it. Reeve kept moving. His eyes scanned everything. He didn't breathe too loud. He didn't speak. He knew how Deathworlds worked. If you made noise, you were hunted. Then the ground shook just a little at first, a soft tremble. Then a deeper rumble, like something huge was moving through the forest. Reeve dropped to one knee and aimed his rifle. Leaves rustled. Branches cracked suddenly. A creature burst from the trees in front of him. It was massive, at least 10 feet tall, covered in thick, dark scales that looked like armor. Its face was long, with sharp teeth. Its claws dug deep into the dirt as it ran. Reeve raised his weapon, but stopped. The creature wasn't charging him. It wasn't hunting. It was running away from something. Reeve's heart pounded. He turned his head, eyes searching the trees behind the beast. Whatever scared a creature that size had to be worse than anything he'd ever seen. Then he saw it. A shadow moved through the forest, not big, not loud, but fast, unbelievably fast. The leaves didn't move. The ground didn't shake. It didn't growl or roar. It didn't even make a sound, but it chased the beast like it had hunted 1,000 times before. Reeve's breath caught in his throat. This thing, this shadow, it wasn't natural. It didn't move like an animal. It moved like a machine, smooth, cold, silent. He stayed still, barely breathing, as the creature disappeared into the trees after its prey. The forest fell quiet again. No birds, no insects. Just the sound of wind and Reeve's pounding heartbeat. He looked down at the mud on his boots. It was shaking again, slightly. That thing was still out there, and he knew, deep in his gut, that the creature wasn't from this planet. It didn't belong here. It had been brought here by someone. But why? Before he could think more, his arm console blinked. Static buzzed in his ear. His eyes went wide. His radio was working again. A voice came through, broken and full of static, but clear enough to recognize. "This is Command. Reeve." "Respond. Urgent." He pressed the button. "Reeve here. I'm alive. Crashed. The team's dead. Something's down here with me." The voice on the other end cut him off. "Reeve, you need to get out. We've just picked up new signals. A fleet is entering orbit. Not human. Threxians." Reeve froze. Threxians were a feared alien species, aggressive, powerful, and known for wiping out entire colonies. "They're not coming to help the ones who sent the distress signal," Command said. "They're coming because they found you." Reeve stared at the dark forest. First, something had lured his team here with a fake cry for help. Then, something not from this world had started hunting everything that moved. Now, an entire alien army was coming, just to get him. He felt cold. This mission was never about rescue. It was a trap, and it had just begun. Sergeant Callum Reeve was still shaking. He had just survived an encounter with something terrifying, a creature that moved through the forest like a ghost, faster than anything he'd ever seen. It didn't roar. It didn't make mistakes. It hunted with purpose. It was smart. And it had just chased a giant alien beast like it was nothing. Reeve knew, deep in his gut, that this creature was not just dangerous. It was something far worse. It wasn't natural. It didn't belong here. And yet, it was here. Somewhere in the fog. Reeve moved quickly but quietly. He left the forest and found shelter in a nearby cave. The entrance was narrow, hidden behind thick vines. Inside, it was cold and dark. But at least he was out of the open. He needed time to think. Time to breathe. He crouched low, scanning the cave with his rifle's flashlight. The beam swept across rocks, then bones. Lots of bones, some small, others large, with jagged cuts on them. They weren't just scattered randomly. They were arranged, lined up neatly along the walls like trophies. Something had been living here. No, not just living, hunting, collecting. Reeve's skin crawled. The cave wasn't empty. He stepped backward, slow and careful. Then he heard it. Click, 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 a strange sound like metal tapping on stone. It echoed through the cave, soft at first, then louder. Reeve spun around. Rifle raised. Nothing. He turned again. Still nothing. But the clicking was getting closer. Coming from everywhere. Then, in the far corner of the cave, something moved. It didn't walk. It slid. The shadow shifted and the wall began to open its eyes. A figure stepped out of the darkness. It was tall and thin, skin pale like old meat, veins glowing faintly beneath the surface. Its arms were long, ending in sharp claws. Its face was part insect, part machine, with a jaw that opened sideways, full of metal teeth, and it was smiling. The creature moved fast. It grabbed Reeve by the throat and slammed him against the cave wall. His head spun. He struggled, but its grip was like iron. Then instinct kicked in. Reeve pulled the trigger. His plasma rifle blasted blue, fire straight into the creature's chest. It screeched, a horrible metallic noise, and stumbled back, smoke rising from its body. In that moment, Reeve saw the truth. This thing wasn't an animal. It wasn't just an alien. It was engineered. Built for killing, modified for hunting, not something that evolved naturally. No. This creature had been created. By who? And for what? Before he could shoot again, the thing vanished. 1 second it was there, the next it was gone, melted back into the shadows like it had never been real. Reeve dropped to one knee, gasping for air. He could still feel the cold where it had touched him. He wiped blood from his chin and checked his rifle. Half charge left. He was running low. He couldn't stay in the cave. He stepped outside, but something had changed. The air was thicker, colder. The fog was rolling in fast, covering the ground like a blanket. Reeve's visor flickered. His sensors were glitching. Shapes danced at the edge of his vision, but nothing solid. Then, out of nowhere, his radio crackled again. The voice of Earth Command came through. Broken but urgent. Reeve, listen. Situation worse, not just you anymore. He pressed his comms button. Say again, what's happening? New ships entering orbit. Confirmed alien fleet, Threxians. They answered the distress call. Reeve froze. The Threxians were one of the most feared species in the galaxy. 4 arms, brutal fighters. No mercy. If they were here, this planet had just gone from bad to hell. But what Command said next made Reeve's blood run cold. They didn't come to help the ones who sent the signal. They're not here for rescue. They're here for you. Reeve's heart sank. What do you mean? Why me? We don't know yet, but they want you alive or dead. Either way, they've mobilized everything. They know you survived. You need to hide. Reinforcements may not reach you in time. The signal cut off. Silence. Reeve looked up at the burning sky. Somewhere above the clouds, alien ships were breaking into orbit. Warships, dropships, carriers full of soldiers, all for one human. It didn't make sense. Why would a powerful alien race come after a single Earth soldier? Unless he had seen something they didn't want him to see. Maybe that creature in the cave. Maybe something even worse. Reeve didn't know the answer. But he knew one thing for sure. He was being hunted not just by one monster, but by 2 deadly enemies now. One, a quiet killer in the mist. The other, a full alien army falling from the sky. And he was right in the middle. Reeve tightened the grip on his rifle. He didn't have a plan. He didn't have a team. He didn't even have a way off the planet. But he wasn't going to die quietly. Whatever was coming, they'd have to fight for it. The forest rumbled again. The clicking returned. And up above, Reeve saw the black dots of alien ships cutting through the red clouds like knives. The war had just begun. The sky above Garnak 6 turned darker. The clouds twisted like smoke, and strange lights flashed in the red sky. Sergeant Callum Reeve looked up from the jungle floor and saw something that made his stomach drop. Alien ships. Dozens of them were entering the atmosphere. They didn't look human. Sleek, silent, cold. Their black metal hulls glowed with red lights. These were Threxian ships, the same species Earth Command had warned him about. The Threxians were not friendly. They were feared across the galaxy. Tall, 4-armed aliens covered in armor. They were known as hunters, conquerors, and killers. They didn't come to help anyone. They came to take what they wanted. And now they were here. For Reeve, dropships slammed into the jungle around him, shaking the ground. Reeve hid in the tall grass and watched. Hundreds of Threxian soldiers marched out of the ships in perfect lines. Their armor hissed and clicked. Each one carried energy weapons and blades that pulsed with blue light. Drones floated above their heads, scanning everything around them. They were fast, focused, and deadly. But something felt strange. Reeve expected the Threxians to begin hunting him right away, to spread out, track him, surround him. But instead, something else happened. Suddenly, from deep within the forest, a loud scream echoed. It wasn't human. It was alien, sharp, violent, full of panic. Reeve turned his head toward the sound. In the distance, one Threxian squad had gone silent. The drones above them flickered. Then disappeared. Another scream. Then another. Reeve crawled closer and climbed onto a ridge, overlooking a clearing. What he saw chilled him. The Threxians were being hunted. From the shadows. Something attacked. Fast. Unseen. Threxian warriors were pulled into the trees, cut down before they could fight. Their bodies vanished in seconds. Weapons fired blindly. Lights flared. But it didn't help. Whatever was killing them couldn't be stopped. It was the same creature Reeve had seen earlier. The one that had hunted the massive beast and tried to kill him in the cave. It was back. And now it was tearing through the Threxian army like paper. Reeve had a terrifying thought. Even the Threxians, the strongest soldiers in the galaxy, were not safe here. Suddenly, Reeve heard a snap behind him. Too late. A Threxian had found him. It stepped out of the trees, weapon aimed at Reeve's head. This one was different. Bigger. A commander, maybe. Its armor was black with glowing gold patterns. 4 arms, each holding a different weapon. You are the Earth Deathworlder. The alien said, its voice deep and cold. Our leaders want your head, alive or dead. Reeve didn't wait. He grabbed his plasma rifle and fired. The alien dove aside, then charged. The two crashed into each other, rolling down the hill. Trees cracked. Rocks shattered. Reeve struck with the butt of his rifle, but the Threxian hit back harder, knocking him to the ground. The alien raised its sword. Reeve kicked it in the chest and rolled away just in time. He grabbed a grenade from his belt, armed it, and jammed it into a crack in the Threxian's armor. Then he kicked the alien off the cliff. Boom! The explosion rocked the side of the mountain. Smoke and fire filled the air. Reeve stood panting, covered in dirt and blood. He looked over the edge. The alien's body was gone, but something was coming through the smoke. Reeve raised his rifle again, ready to fight. But what stepped through the fire was not a Threxian. It was a human, covered in black armor, face hidden by a helmet with glowing red eyes. He dragged a long, heavy weapon behind him like it weighed nothing. He looked like something out of a nightmare, half soldier, half machine. Reeve froze. More figures stepped out of the shadows behind him, other humans dressed the same. Men and women, all in dark exosuits, all armed to the teeth. Some had cybernetic arms. Others had weapons fused directly into their armor. Their movements were cold and professional. They weren't normal soldiers. They were Earth's Deathworlders. Reeve had only heard rumors about them. Special forces created by Earth's darkest military programs. Trained to survive the worst environments in the galaxy. Sent only when missions went very, very wrong. They didn't follow rules. They didn't ask questions. They just finished the job. The lead soldier stepped forward and removed her helmet. Her face was scarred, her eyes hard. "Sergeant Reeve," she said, "you survived longer than expected." Reeve lowered his weapon. "Who are you?" "We're Plan B," she said. "Reinforcements." Earth knew this mission might go south, so we waited in orbit until the worst happened. She handed Reeve a new weapon, a shock rifle with a high-power core. She gave him flame grenades and a blade made from biohardened steel. "What now?" he asked. "Now?" she said, smiling slightly. "Now we show them what Earth makes." The Deathworlders moved out like ghosts, disappearing into the forest. Reeve followed, heart-pounding. And then the real battle began. All around Garnak 6, chaos spread. Alien fire lit up the skies. Trees exploded. The ground shook. The Threxians tried to fight back, but they weren't used to being hunted. Earth's Deathworlders struck from the shadows, hit fast, and vanished again. They didn't play fair. They didn't give warnings. And they didn't miss. The creature from the cave returned, bigger now, angrier. It tore through both Threxians and humans, unstoppable. It was the true ruler of this death world, and it wanted blood. But Reeve wasn't running anymore. He had a new weapon. He had allies, and he had something else. A plan. The war had reached a new level. Now it was Earth's turn to hunt. The sky above Garnak 6 was now a war zone. Fire and smoke filled the air. Alien ships exploded in the sky like fireworks, raining metal down onto the burning jungle. Thunder cracked, not from storms, but from weapons. All around the jungle, Earth's Deathworlders and the alien Threxian army were locked in brutal battle. Both sides were fighting hard. But something else was happening too. Something worse. The real enemy, the creature that lived in the shadows, had finally shown itself. This was no ordinary monster. This was a living nightmare. It moved through the chaos like smoke. Fast, silent, deadly. It didn't care who you were. Human or Threxian, it killed everything. And now, it wasn't alone. More creatures had appeared. Dozens, maybe hundreds. Each one like the first, part machine, part beast. Claws like swords, eyes like glowing knives. They came from the ground, the trees, the sky. It was like the planet itself had been hiding them, keeping them buried until it was time. And now, it was time. Sergeant Callum Reeve stood on a rocky cliff with the Earth Deathworlders looking down at the battle below. Fires lit the jungle. Screams echoed in the air. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. What started as a rescue mission had turned into a full invasion, and now it was worse than that. Something was waking up beneath the planet, something ancient, something deadly. Reeve turned to the Deathworlder commander, the scarred woman, who had rescued him earlier. "What the hell are those things?" he asked. She looked at him, grim. "They're not from this world. We think the Threxians built them. Bioweapons. Living machines designed to wipe out planets." Reeve's eyes widened. "So the Threxians created them?" She shook her head. "No, they found them here, buried deep under the surface, sleeping for thousands of years. The distress signal, it was bait. Someone wanted us here. All of us." Reeve stared out at the battlefield. "But why?" The commander's voice was low. "To test the weapons. To see how humans and Threxians would fight them. We were part of the experiment." Reeve felt sick. It all made sense now. The distress signal, the cave, the alien creature that moved like a ghost. It wasn't a random monster. It was a weapon test. And they were the lab rats. The ground rumbled beneath his boots. A deep, low vibration, like something massive was waking up. Then a huge explosion rocked the jungle below. A hole opened in the center of the battlefield, wide, dark, and deep. From it came a sound like no other. A roar that wasn't just noise. It was pain and rage and hunger all at once. And from the hole, something rose. It was bigger than a ship. Taller than the trees. A creature of bone and steel. Dozens of arms. Multiple faces fused into one giant skull. It didn't walk. It floated above the ground, surrounded by lightning and smoke. Its eyes burned red, scanning the battlefield. Every soldier, human or Threxian, froze. This was the final stage of the weapon. The true horror hidden. Beneath Garnak 6, Reeves' chest tightened. How do we stop that? The commander raised a glowing beacon. We don't. We call in Earth's final card. She pressed the button. High above the planet, in orbit, Earth's hidden ship moved into position. It was called the Judicator, a last resort weapon Earth had kept secret. A flying fortress, armed with a planet buster cannon strong enough to destroy a moon. We fire that cannon. We destroy the creature, the commander said. But we destroy the planet too. Everyone down here dies. Reeve clenched his jaw. There's got to be another way. But the commander shook her head. This planet's already lost. That thing will escape if we don't act now. And if it escapes, Earth is next. Reeve looked around. The Deathworlders stood ready, injured, tired, but not afraid. Down below, the Threxians were losing fast. Even their strongest warriors were being torn apart. The creatures, the machine beasts, were spreading. They weren't just defending their territory anymore. They were multiplying, expanding, becoming an army. Reeve made his choice. I'll go down there, he said. I'll get close to the monster. Mark it with a beacon. You aim the cannon. Just give me 5 minutes. The commander hesitated. You won't make it back. I know, Reeve said, loading his last grenade. But I'm already dead if we don't stop it. Without waiting for permission, Reeve ran into the jungle, dodging fire, blasting through enemy lines. He climbed over wreckage, ducked under branches, and sprinted straight toward the monster rising in the distance. Every second counted. He jumped over a broken Threxian tank and landed hard. His leg burned, but he kept going. The monster's roar shook the sky. Its claws cracked the earth. It was pulling energy from the planet's core, preparing to leave. To fly. To spread. Reeve reached the edge of the pit. The monster saw him. It screamed. A shockwave knocked him back. Blood pouring from his ears. His vision blurred. But he pulled the beacon from his chest plate, activated it, and threw it straight at the monster's heart. The beacon stuck. It lit up red. Now. Reeve screamed into his comms. Take the shot. High above, the Judicator's main cannon lit up like a star. A massive beam of blue-white energy. Fired from orbit. It slammed into the monster, and the entire planet shook. Light filled the sky. Everything disappeared in a blinding flash, and then silence. When Reeve opened his eyes, he was lying on blackened earth. The sky was clear. The fog was gone. No more creatures. No more Threxians. Just the sound of wind. He was alive. Barely. A dropship landed nearby. The Deathworlder commander stepped out, burned and bruised, but still standing. She helped him up. You did it, she said. Reeve looked around. The jungle was scorched. The weapon was gone. The test had failed. No, he said. We did it. As the ship lifted into the sky, Earth Command spoke in Reeve's ear. We've confirmed it. The weapon's destroyed. But we've also learned something else. Reeve frowned. What? Command paused. There are other planets like Garnak 6, and the same creatures are sleeping on all of them. This was only the beginning. Reeve closed his eyes, the ship rising through the clouds. He wasn't going home. The real war was just starting.